Now, coming to you live from atop the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's the one, the only, PUCL Podcast.
It's PUCL! PUCL! It's PUCL! PUCL! Pokemon Underground Champions League, oh yeah! PUCL! PUCL.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the PUCL Podcast. I'm your host, Trainer Thatch, here today, joined by none other than R.Sigma.
Hello.
And we've got Clod9 as well, the jovial.
Hello, everyone.
He's gonna make the energy of the show much better than I will. I have not, I last week I had some, really cool stories, and this week I have the legit opposite. I have nothing that's exciting to talk about because I have not done much in Pokemon. I was on the road once again, thankfully done for a very long time, and we can now just focus on playing Pokemon, doing fun things, playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Of course.
Nice.
Yeah, of course. The most important, the important things in life, right? Play lots of Dungeons and Dragons on top of your Pokemon, and you have a good life. I mean, I like to think that I have 3 thrusts of hobbies nowadays, maybe 4.
I mean, you haven't crossed the streams yet, right? With that?
What do you mean? Oh no, I don't think I could.
Have you done your Power Rangers Dungeons and Dragons yet?
I've not done the Power Rangers Dungeons and Dragons. So Power Rangers I wouldn't even call a hobby. That's just a fandom that I know a lot about. I do play occasionally Heroes of the Grid. I've talked about it a bajillion times on the show, but I do occasionally play Heroes of the Grid, but that's just board gaming. It's D&D adjacent, and I do run D&D pretty regularly. I do not only do I do Dungeons and Dragons, I do this show. Obviously, I do Pokemon. I do a significant amount of Pokemon TCG stuff still, and competitive Pokemon. I love streaming competitive Pokemon. It's just so much fun, and it makes me realize how many of those skills are just buried in my core memories.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then outside of that, so that's 2, and then, I bowl. That takes up my Thursdays now.
That's right. You are a bowler.
I am a bowler. I'm a pretty okay one too. I got to decide. They just came out with so bowling leagues typically start around this time of year. And so August 15th is typically actually when a lot of bowling balls get released, new ones. And I have to decide whether or not I'm buying one.
Aren't they all the same?
No, absolutely not. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I was hoping that you went on a tangent about this.
I don't know that I should. The short of it is there's a very easy way to put it is there are 3 things you can get in a bowling ball to make it different. One is the core, because the center of mass isn't always evenly distributed throughout the bowling ball, so a lot of bowling balls you can actually just kind of push down the lane and they'll hook on their own. And then on top of that, you have what the outer part of the bowling ball is made out of. Some are have more friction than others, right? Some will grab the lanes a little bit more than others will. So that changes how it hooks based on oil conditions. And the third thing is the way the ball hooks can change based on where you drill the finger holes on the ball.
Are there larger and smaller finger holes on different balls?
No.
I have to imagine. Right?
They're the finger holes that match your hands, right? I would say, I do think that actually most of the time now, I would say finger holes are pretty standardized to one size, because you put finger grips in for your 2 fingers, not your thumb, but you'll put finger grips in. And so you just drill one size hole, and then you just put the rubberized grips in. But the placement on the ball where those finger holes are can actually determine how much the ball hooks as well. And so I've been looking to get one of the more aggressive bowling balls drilled much more aggressively than I currently have, so that I could just get a crazy amount of hook out of something. So we'll see. I have to determine. It's going to be a $200 purchase, and I have to decide whether or not I'm going to do it here in the next couple weeks.
I think you should do it.
I might.
Granted, I'm also a bad influence and an agent of chaos. So.
Man, my wife might kill me if I do it.
Then don't do it.
Yeah, okay. Do you know how many bowling balls I have in the house right now? Take a guess.
Not enough, clearly.
Kind of. Yeah, I think the current bowling balls, if we don't include my wife's bowling balls as well, because she bowls with me in the bowling league, if we don't include her stuff, I currently have like 6-ish that I have on rotation. I do need to like adjust that a little bit. You are allowed up to 6 bowling balls in regulation play. You can't have more than 6. Fun fact. And so it's just a weird fact.
Seems like a high number, but
no, okay, but like you say that, but once you understand, like I gave you those 3, right? Those 3 things. So imagine you just have 1 grippy cover stock, 1 less grippy cover stock, and then you have 2 different drilling patterns on both of those to make them hook more or less. So that's already 4, right?
Yeah, my guess would have been like 3 to 4, but
that's already 4. That doesn't include everybody just has a spare ball, which is essentially the one that Clod will go pick up on the bowling lane when he goes to bowl for fun.
Yeah.
Everybody's just got one of those. So
Why?
that's like because it doesn't hook then, and so you can actually get much more control on like your single pin spares.
Can't you just use the ones that are at the lane already?
They don't fit your hand, and if a bowling ball fits your hand, it's a lot different. I've brought a lot of people into the game in the past like year or so, and in the past year, the number one thing that they don't realize, like I tell them, I'm like, if you really want to be in this, you should just go buy a ball.
Sounds like if any of the Puckle people have any of their bowling questions, they should start messaging you now.
Yeah. If you want to, I just go buy a ball, go spend $100. I think it's going to be about $100 for a plastic ball of your own, which is the equivalent of the bowling ball in the lane. And if you buy that and you end up sticking with the sport, that'll actually still be usable after you buy it. And so you can continue to just throw that for a very long time. But once it fits your hand, because like I know the number one complaint when people go bowling is like, it hurts my hand after a while because like I have to squeeze to hold on to the bowling ball, right? And when it's drilled for your fingers, it actually, you no longer have to squeeze. You just like hold the ball and you like do a slight tension release and then the ball falls off your hands. It's a much different experience bowling with your own equipment. And
Okay.
the train of thought is also like, it makes the ball feel 2 pounds lighter or so if it's drilled for you. So like maybe you go to the bowling alley, Clod, and you're like, I can only throw the 12-pound balls. Like it's too heavy. You would probably be able to throw a 14 if it was drilled for you.
My issue is more that they're too big for my hands, and I can't I can't use it. I have to I granny shot half the time anyways.
Yeah, exactly. That's not legal. You can't do that in regulation bowling. So
Why not?
you have to, if you have the holes in the bowling ball, you have to have the fingers in the bowling ball.
Why?
Because there was a thing that they were doing before 2020. This is getting into the weeds, but thinking about physics, which I'm sure everybody in the show, listening to the show, is like definitely super into physics. Moments of inertia of things, which would cause your bowling ball to hook, which is why you have an unequal center of mass in a bowling ball. That's why, like, that's a big thing. They used to drill an extra hole on the bowling balls to offset the center of mass, so you would actually get like way more hook out of some other bowling balls. And it got to the point where bowling ball technology had evolved so far, which is crazy to think about. Like bowling ball technology is like constantly evolving, and having that extra hole like broke the game. Like you could just have this balance hole inside a bowling ball, and you could just like throw a 250 average without a problem.
So
it was insane.
That
they banned
doesn't
that.
answer my question on why. Is it the same thing with the granny shot?
Because then you could just drill the hole. You could just drill the holes wherever you want.
Well, that explains why there has to be, I understand having the set 3, but why do you have to have your fingers in it?
You have to have your fingers in it because then if you, let's say you put them you could put them in a position that is more optimal. That wouldn't be a way, if you threw the ball properly, it would not hook the same way. It's a whole thing.
Okay, that doesn't answer my question, but we'll move on.
The ball would not have the same motion, and therefore you could potentially have motion that would not be possible otherwise, if that makes sense. And that could break the game again. That's the answer.
So you can be too good at throwing the ball without your hands and the fingers that they banned it.
Kind of, yeah. But you still need to put you need to put your fingers in the holes, like you just have to. Because you could see somebody like putting, like you could end up drilling the hole so that you would never put your hand in it, but it looks like it's you could drill it in such a way that it would just unbalance the bowling ball.
And I don't see why that's a problem.
Because it makes it hook way crazy if you do it the right way.
I don't understand still why that's a problem for other people. And that's something to deal with on your own thing.
This is a longer discussion for another day.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure the listeners were enthralled by 10 minutes of bowling talk, though, so welcome to your intro this week, unless you guys have some fun Pokemon stuff you did this week other than watch Worlds while it's going on currently.
Nah, just small things.
Yeah, Puckle things, and I'm very close once again finishing my Infinite Fusion Nuzlocke.
Awesome.
I think next weekend.
Cool.
I'll put in more exact time. Will be the finale probably next Saturday. Granted, I still have to get to the Elite Four, but I have one stream left that'll happen either today of recording or tomorrow of recording this. So that will get me there. But we'll see. Hopefully, I can finish it this time and don't lose again. Have to restart because I wanted to do our next month challenge.
Yeah, it's just like a playthrough, right? We're just doing a playthrough.
It's a casual playthrough of Gen 2.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah. I'm going to do a fur-only run of Gen 2. I haven't decided which Gen 2 I want to do a fur-only run of, but we're going to just play with Furret.
It's going to be fun.
I'm tempted to do just like base Crystal.
Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I was going to say HGSS, so then you have the elemental punches.
Can I do like OG Gen 2, though? Like, am I just allowed to do OG Gen 2?
Yeah, you can do either. Like,
okay.
You get to decide if you want a good Kadabra or not.
You get the OG ones in Crystal, though.
Yeah, because I was just gonna go straight like straight OG Gen 2 because I have it on cart and I need a reason to go play through it anyway. For my Living Dex challenge that I'm doing.
Either's fine.
So it sounds like a good time to do that.
Yeah, I think I might do original Crystal just for fun.
Though I might just like give myself like a bunch of rare candies. So yeah, I am excited for that.
Kadabra is a lot better in the older games. Same with Typhlosion, just because this Thunder Punch exists and Fire Punch for Kadabra, but
I might play Gen 6.
Gen 6 is will be our Nuzlocke one in like 2 months.
Yeah, I might do.
Possibly,
I said Gen 6. I think I meant Crystal. I don't know why my brain's not working today, guys. But either way, yeah. With that, let's go kick it on over to the news.
Live from the Lavender Town Radio Tower. This just in.
Welcome to the news. In the news, we've got a few things. First of all, we're going to start off with a somber note. I did see this on the internet this week. This was actually pretty sad. The voice actress for Misty, Rachel Lillis, has passed away this week. So that is unfortunate. There were a lot of really, really good like remembrance type deals on and oh my gosh, I forget the word for it, but there is a lot of good stuff on like this on social media trying to celebrate her life. So yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah. She passed away pretty young too. She was like in her late 40s. So it's kind of a bummer. All right, but speaking of the anime, the next set of Netflix episodes releases on November 22nd. Didn't we just get the third set, like, now?
They were doing them every couple months, and yeah,
I'm glad they announced it, though. I'm glad they announced it, like, super early, so that's nice. I'm honestly just waiting for that one to come out so I can just binge the whole, like, first season.
I've watched the first 2 parts. I think I might wait for the next one before I do 3 and 4 together.
Yeah, I've only done the first batch. I've only done the first 12.
The next 12 are great.
Yeah, okay. Good to know.
I know, I haven't decided how I want to go about it, because, like, I have a show I'm watching before bed right now, and I'm like, it's been my quintessential, alright, I watch this before bed, because it's easy, it's light, and puts me to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I get that.
But I'm like, alright, I'm in the middle of something else right now, so we're gonna see how long that one lasts before I get back to Pokemon.
All right. Also, Unite has announced a new battle mode coming in the spring that will have teams race to scoring 500. That's actually pretty fun. I'm into that.
That's a different way to play. I like that.
Yeah. Also, rumors are the next 3 Unite characters are Armor Rouge, Darkrai, and Psyduck, but not Golduck. I guess we don't have Raichu either, so this kind of makes sense. So, there were also rumors that Netflix's live-action series is still in development and will focus on Red. I did see that post on social media as well. I don't know how much I believe
That's cool.
I don't know how much I believe it's actually real. It's
the thing,
it's just a rumor.
It feels like if it exists, it'll probably pop up for the next big anniversary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
yeah,
it'll be like
exactly.
the big reveal for the
Probably.
30th or something. Yeah.
It'll be revealed like the Mario movie, right? So, and there's news. There was news at the closing ceremonies of Worlds, but turns out we record the episode beforehand. So we'll talk about it next week. Yay! Timeliness.
I think it literally comes out as this releases. It comes out at like 11:30 midnight.
Yeah,
something like that.
I'm not super worried about it. I honestly I fully expect it to be like TCG Pocket. This is going to be a time capsule now. It's going to be like TCG Pocket.
I don't expect anything. I don't expect ZA. I don't.
I expect ZA to be the different one. Granted, no, I expect something like Wild. As I said, like, we're probably going to get the next TCG mechanic that's going to be weird.
Oh, yeah, we'll get that.
Always do that.
We'll get something like that. If it's tag teams.
They'll announce the next characters. Like, I think the rumors are going to go away from the time we hear this to coming out. I think they will announce what the next 3 are. I think we'll get something for Go, because they always do something for Go. Like, your next raids will be this.
Yeah, it'll be
check out Gen 10 or Gen 9 and Go or something absurd.
Yeah.
It'll be
and then we'll get something for Scarlet. There will be a Scarlet and Violet thing. I'm almost positive.
I hope there's something for Scarlet and Violet outside of Terror Raids, but I doubt there will be, right? So
something like Mewtwo that would be cool.
The Mewtwo, the way they did the Mewtwo and the Mew was actually really cool, and I kind of hope they do that again.
Watch, they're gonna go off script and announce the next Pokemon movie.
There hasn't been a Pokemon movie actually in like. I think
since Zarude, right?
Since the Zarude movie, yeah. I don't think there's been a Pokemon movie.
And now that Ash is done, what's next?
Nothing, probably. I don't think the movies do the same thing that they used to do. I just don't think...
but I think they're still going to do it.
I would be into it. I think the bummer is it like launches on Netflix.
Out of the box that is different, that's fun, that,
yeah.
If it happens, people can be like, hey, he called it.
I do miss when like... I do miss when the Pokemon movies were in theaters. They still did do that, like, near the end of Pokemon movies. Like, I saw The Power of Us.
They brought it back.
In theaters.
Like, they killed it. And then I think once I think the 3D remake of the first movie probably is what, like, was the nail in the coffin. And then they had a few more movies in them. But I think the writing on the wall was when they redid the first movie in 3D, because that was not pretty and probably very expensive.
But I can see Pokemon being like, we're going to partner with Netflix and release all of the Pokemon movies.
Man,
all of them
okay,
except for the 3 they don't
Pokemon anime is like such a monster of who owns what. And where you can, they have, there's actually a guide on Pokemon's website about where to go to watch certain episodes of Pokemon. And it's insane to me. You have to like go. You literally have to search far and wide.
It's weird.
You have to search far and wide. It's insane. It's absolutely insane to like be able to watch it. I don't actually think there's a place to watch to stream like Orange Islands. I don't think a streaming service has Orange Islands right now. No, I looked it up. No streaming service has Orange Islands.
That's absurd.
Unless you can count like Amazon Video, but it requires you to like buy it. But like,
I think I actually have the box set somewhere. Maybe.
I have the box sets of the first 5 seasons, and so like I'm not worried about ever being able to watch those, and I don't need to watch them to be fair. But it is what it is. But all right, well let's move on. Let's move on to the next couple of pieces of news.
All right.
I think it's Sigma. Yes. Sigma's got the next.
It is Sigma. Yep, I forgot what color I was.
Yeah, I think it's me. So, the next set of 7-star raids with Dragonite starts Thursday. So if you haven't gotten, well, actually, I don't recommend hunting the Gimmigholes. Go find like a Twitch channel hosting them or something. It's fine. But if you care about Wattrel or Compe's an annoying one to hunt otherwise. So yeah, I would get those before they go away. 7-star Dragonite starts Thursday along with outbreaks for Larvitar, Bagon, which those are version exclusives, so that's cool to have. Gumi and Hisuian Sliggoo.
Yeah.
And Beldum. Fun times.
Okay.
I like when they do Pokemon that are version exclusives. I for my Shining Living decks, I need 3 Bs, so I'm still hoping for those at some point, but we'll see. Pokemon Go news. During Worlds, they have already announced buffs and debuffs that are happening next season, along with like expanded move pools. So
what does that mean? What does that mean?
They're powering up some moves, they're weakening other moves. I don't know. There are people who care about this format.
They're probably going to change the cooldown on a couple of the moves, is my immediate thought. But
there are more people that care about competitive Go news than people who care about expanded in TCG, I'm sure.
Yes. Well, they've done a very good job killing expanded.
They just but
I'm actually really confused since that. Yeah.
There's also a Triumph Together event. Yeah, there's a Triumph Together event coming out this Friday. We don't know what it is yet, but hey, it's on the schedule, so we know it's there. They didn't announce it because of Worlds.
All right. Jumping into TCG, this year's Ultra Premium Collection will include Terapagos alongside Cinderace and Lapras from the Stellar Crown set. I think it looks really cool from what I've seen so far.
Wait, is it on like Pokemon Center?
No, it's on Pokemon.
No, it's been...
Yeah, it is. I'm looking at it right now on Pokemon Center.
Oh, Boom. It is?
Nice.
Great.
Yeah, it's on Pokemon Center. I figured if they announced it, it's going to be on Pokemon Center. Does the Ultra... Does it have... No, they did not make it a Stitch Edge playmat. Why do they not make it a Stitch Edge playmat? I hate that.
I like this. I like the Stitch one from 151.
Yeah, the 151's playmat is actually like really nice.
Yeah.
So I'm actually kind of bummed that they didn't do that on this one. It looks like it's just like a really generic Pokemon playmat. Yeah.
Yeah, like the ones they hand out for like participating in events and stuff.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's just like meh.
All right. For the first time in a while, they've added a banned card to the expanded list. They banned Duskull that can evolve by discarding 3 cards from Cosmic Eclipse. I believe with the new Dusk Noir that came out in...
And the new Dusclops that came out.
Yeah, and Clops.
The Dusclops was the big one.
The Dusclops was the reason they banned it. They said, we know it's a super hard combo to pull off, but nonetheless you can. Or you can actually pull off a combo where you could get 4 Duskull into play, and then you could get the 4 Dusclops that can KO themselves for 5 damage counters, and you could do 200 damage turn 1 and just donk your opponent.
Yep.
I figured that was part of it.
I get it.
I know there was a time.
The 5 people that play Expanded are really upset right now.
I'm sure.
I don't think they are, because I think they lost to the combo enough, and they're like, no, this is not worth it. This is dumb.
I doubt I don't know. Like, nobody's playing Expanded. There's no events for it, so I'm very surprised they're actually, like, updating the format.
I'd be curious to see if this affects GLC at all.
GLC, it's a fan-made format, and they get to choose, right? So.
Yeah, but they have their own little ban list in GLC, and I would expect this Duskull to hit that ban list as well.
I don't know that it's going to be as much, because you're not going to get as much turn 1 draw in GLC as you would in Expanded.
So yeah.
You're right, but it's still a matter of like you can combo
and you're not gonna play 4 Duskull because you can't since it's a singleton format.
Yeah, you can only get 1.
But there's other crazy things. I don't know. I could see a potential issue there.
I don't think it's nearly as bad in singleton. Right, I think it's when you can do multiple Duskull. But Claude, we were talking before the show. I like that you disagree with me. So
great. Also, TCG Pocket demos were at Worlds.
I did see that.
The coolest thing I've seen so far is that if you turn the pack around before you open it, you start with the rare.
Cool.
That was a glitch I think that Joe Merrick found.
I believe that.
And I'm like, oh, that's funny. And I saw the video on Twitter this morning. I'm like, or maybe it's designed that way or something, but it was different. I thought it was fun.
You would think that they'd switch it to commons first, since that's how people who open the packs on like TikTok do it, right? Just for the
but it's if you flip the pack around,
you have to flip the pack around to make it happen.
Yeah, before you open it, which is it's weird, but like I think there's a way to do that, which is interesting and silly. In other news, we have Puckle's Badge Bonanzas happening right now. We have Pokemon Unite that's running for the rest of this month. I hate to say it, but I might start playing Unite again. I don't have time, but it's fun. Like, I have to just relearn everything and grind stuff, and I don't want to do that, but, it's fun. It's fine.
I've been enjoying Trevenant. Trevenant's been fun.
Oh, I play support, so I'll be happy with my Blizzy and be content with life.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have at the end, Wo-Chien's News Corner. News brought to you at a snail's pace. 10 years ago this week, the World Championship was won by Sejun Park and VGC. whose Pachizuru was still referenced regularly, is still
actually
he's actually running it right now, isn't he?
He's playing it right now. Yeah,
he's running at Pachizuru again.
I think he qualified for both TCG and VGC this year.
Yes, he did.
Or something absurd like that. And then he's like, I'm going to play VGC in honor of Pachirisu, and then was on stream versus, what's it? Aaron Zhang.
He was playing
Cybertron.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I didn't realize Cybertron made it this year, too. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
TCG was won by Genesec Verizian, piloted by Andrew Estrada.
That was 10 years ago, right?
Yep, 10 years ago.
That was 10 years ago.
That's what I say.
Yeah, and then Puckle's Pokey's opinion is world predictions, but I feel like we already did that. I don't know. I did do the fantasy team thing, and TCG was like super easy because I think you just pick like Ogerpon EX and like, I think I picked like Rotom V.
I chose Charizard.
For my V, I think I picked Regidrago because I thought it was gonna win, and it's clearly not.
There were a lot of Regidrago. I think but
Miraidon's the deck of the deck of worlds right now, which is the most absurd thing.
I am shocked that Miraidon is staying relevant. But
I understand it simply because it can kill Ogerpon and Lugia, and Iron Hands beats Gardevoir.
Yeah, it does.
It makes sense, but it's still weird to see it back.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't like it, but it's here.
For most of the year, I don't think I've thought about it for most of the year.
Guess I'm building Miraidon now. Tinglu's making a comeback. Tinglu's making a comeback.
Not even close.
I know.
I would love to see it make a comeback, but it's not.
It's not going to.
They were so mean to fighting types this gen so far. Like
fighting after Urshifu
should affect
like after Urshifu, like they're just like, yeah, no more right now.
And this is the first time grass has been relevant since
like 2014.
Golisopod?
Yeah, even then like Golisopod was like
it's not
but
even then like it's not the grass types is doing well. It's Ogerpon just to get the energy out there, then you switch to something else.
Mm-hmm.
Oh so, yeah, Ogerpon's really good.
Even then it's I'm glad I have my playset now, and I'm thrilled. I'm great. I can do something with this later when they.
Ogerpon was like one of the biggest cards they added to that game.
I think it's the most impactful card from
Twilight Masquerade for sure.
Masquerade, yeah, that's it
for sure, absolutely. But yeah, I don't know who's gonna win VGC because I haven't been paying attention to that at
all. Wolf at the time of recording went undefeated in day one.
Wow,
like completely undefeated too.
Completely, yeah. Yep. So he's the current frontrunner and favorite. I think he was going into this too, but still.
That's insane.
Like, that's, you get to Worlds and suddenly you do that, and, as of, like, recording this, he would be he would get 2 World Championships if this would be his second if he won, right? So, yes.
Yeah.
I think on the TCG side, there are 2 8-0s. One is an Iron Hands player, and one's Miraidon. So it's, Electric is doing very well.
Mm-hmm. What kind of Iron Hands deck? Is it like a Lawson?
Quad Thorns.
Oh, Iron Thorns.
Iron Thorns. I said Iron Hands, didn't I?
I heard Iron Hands. I heard Iron Thorns. I said makes sense to me.
I meant Iron Thorns.
If you get the right matchups with Iron Thorns, you just win. You just win.
I mean, it shuts down Lugia. It shuts down a lot of Regidrago.
Charizard has a rough time.
Charizard has a really rough time because you have to manually find the energies.
Yeah,
Gardevoir has a tough time.
They ended up tying.
Too. Yeah. They did. It leads to more ties. Is the only problem. I'd be curious to see how they do going into this, and I'm excited to see how the asymmetrical top cut is that for VGC too, or is it just TCG?
Wait, explain asymmetrical top cut. I have no idea what this means.
I think it's everyone. So they look at the top 8, players, and anyone who is tied for points with 8th place is into the asymmetrical top cut.
Okay.
So this way, it's not like, I bubbled out There's no bubbles. It's you hit
That's
the first
great.
point of the points or not. Yeah, and this is going to happen for every regionals going forward for at least TCG. I'm not sure.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. They should have that happen.
You're right. I think it's a big improvement. You're going to have more people, in contention, and it's less sad. Like, I had one bad, I fought someone who dropped after round 1, and now my, record is bad, or my opponent record is bad.
My breakers are bad. Yeah,
that's it. Breakers.
Yeah, I do hate that as a breaker.
That's how we've been doing things for Puckle.
Yeah.
Hey, we were the first to do it. I just going to say.
We were the first to do it.
I mean, I think I did it from them, but I think I stole it from them, but yeah.
I'm gonna cut us off here, and we're gonna kick it on over to Puckle's Poke Quiz, where we're gonna quiz your co-host on their insane Pokemon knowledge.
Oh hi, and welcome to the Poke Quiz, the part of the show where we quiz our co-hosts on their insane Pokemon knowledge. I'm Mark from the Dunsparce Gang, here to explain the rules. Our fabulous co-hosts will work as a team to answer 5 Pokemon-themed trivia questions that fans have submitted on the Discord server. Each question is worth 1 point, with Pokedex and multiple answer questions worth more, for a total of 7 points. The host can use a free hint at any time. If they get all the answers correct and do not use the hint, they can cash it in for an 8th point.
Welcome to our trivia segment. Thank you so much for that introduction. We're going to jump right on into it. Our first question is coming to you from Mull Coffee. In National Dex order, who is the first Steel-type Pokemon? Megas and regionals do count.
But
Sandshrew. Yep, it's Sandshrew with Alolan Sandshrew. That's before Magnemite.
Alolan Sandshrew.
And there are no Steel-type Megas. Yeah.
That is correct. Yep. You guys are 1 for 1. Your second question today is going to come from Professor Snag. Of the Pokemon released in Generation 4, how many of them originate from Generation 4 and evolve using an item held or used? An example would be Bidoof originates from Gen 4, but Magmortar does not, since Magmar is from a previous generation.
Okay, so Generation 4 Pokemon
that evolve using an item.
That involve using an item?
Of some sort, yeah.
To evolve.
Okay.
How many? How many?
Let's try and name them first, I guess is the first thing that comes to mind is...
I wouldn't be shocked if it was very, very low. Incredibly low.
I can tell you it's very low. I'll tell you that it is incredibly low.
It is something between 0 and 2, is my guess. But I have to think through it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just trying to go through, like, the different Pokemon, because this is when they started putting things by routes, and I'm, like, going through my head of, like, what evolves with stone?
The issue is that Gen 4 is, like, barely its own Pokedex, right? That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Is that it is so reliant on older Pokemon that it barely has any of its own Pokemon. And the ones that are there are just normal. This
is hard.
Like I said, I don't think the number is higher than 2. And it might actually just be 0. Because the things that use items to evolve, in most cases, are the extra Pokemon from the old generations. Like, all the new evolution stones were used on old Pokemon. Including Roselia, who you essentially can think of as a Gen 4 Pokemon, but it's not. I
can't think of any that is not.
Like I said, it could be
I don't
very much could be 0.
I think it's 0.
Yeah, I'm fine with 0.
Really can't
I can't think of anything.
I'm fine with 0 too.
0 is correct. It is. There's 0. None of them do it. All of them that evolve with items, which there are a ton in Gen 4, are all evolutions of previous generations.
Or previous generation, or Gen 4 into a previous generation mod.
Yeah. Yep.
Looking at you, Happini.
Happini. Munchlax.
Badoo is...
Yeah, well, yeah. Badoo and Munchlax don't need items. Yeah. All right. That is going to be... I mean, maybe Happiny would have counted for that question. But either way, we're going to give you guys the point. That's 2 for 2. Your next entry is your Pokedex entry, as always. This one comes from Smeargle19. Its Pokemon Shield entry reads, it knows the forest inside and out. If it comes across a wounded Pokemon, this Pokemon will gather medicinal herbs to treat it. Who's that Pokemon?
Oranguru.
Maybe.
I'm just guessing something out there.
I was thinking Nuzleaf, but yeah, Oranguru isn't bad. Nuzleaf is close to a dark type. We're gonna need more information, not a dark type itself. Yeah, so
yeah, either or. We can go with and then just hope.
Oranguru is fine.
Oranguru
it's more likely to be.
Oranguru is correct.
Wait, is it really?
Yeah. Oranguru is correct. Yeah.
I was just thinking immediately of the what's it? the Alola anime.
Yeah, the tea shop.
Guru took care of the Pokemon that got injured in the forest. And I'm like, all right.
The hint entry was going to be from Ultra Sun, and it says it normally spends its time meditating in treetops. It throws Pokeballs and gives other Pokemon orders as it pleases.
I am so proud of myself for that. All right.
You guys are 4 for 3. Your next question is your multiple answer question, as always, and you can get up to 2 points here. This is from the Enchanted Voidicus. There are 3 answers. I only need 2 of them. Which 3 special moves are the only ones with positive priority?
Define what a special move is.
Right? Special, like it does special damage.
Uses the special attack.
A special move. Okay.
So it's Thunderclap and Vacuum Wave, right? Like
Vacuum Wave.
Thunderclap, Vacuum Wave,
the easy 2.
The third.
Okay, that's 2 points. Do you know the third one?
That's 2.
For a friend?
Not off the top of my
what's
head,
the third one?
I do.
Do you know? The answer's Water Shuriken. But yeah.
Well, yeah.
You guys did get
that one's a dumb one because it changed type.
Yeah.
Like between Gen 6 and 7, it changed what it used. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, you guys are 6 for 4. Your next question is your base stat question, as always. And this is going to come to us from Join the Badge Bonanza, who I assume is Liger. And I'm going to ask you guys this. You're not going to know this answer. This is the question I skipped last week. In Pokemon Unite at max level 15, who has the highest base attack? Which Pokemon has the highest base attack?
See, you would think it would be Hoopa transformed, right? But I feel like we need to use the hint.
Wait. Is it not Zacian?
Oh, actually, it could be Mewtwo X as well.
Oh God, there's so many Pokemon. I don't even know we're in this game.
But I think we need the hint.
Okay.
This is a dual type Pokemon, and one of the types is fire.
Oh,
is it Talonflame?
Is that what you're going to go with?
Oh, is it Cerulege?
I know it's in the game.
Cerulege is in the game. Charizard's in the game. Yeah, it is.
Oh,
it's one of the more popular Pokemon. It just came out.
Yeah.
Cerulege is the newest, so that wouldn't be a shock. And it has swords for arms. Because I don't think it's Delphox.
What are we going with?
I still think it's Talonflame, but I could be Cerulege.
Talonflame's a speedster, so I would think it would be an all-rounder. Or
I leave this to you. I don't know enough. I don't know.
I think it's the new guy. I think it's Cerulege.
Cerulege is incorrect. The answer is Talonflame.
How?
Talonflame has the highest base attack of 710. It's next up is it's mostly speedsters. Actually, speedsters are all up here.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they don't have defense.
They don't have defense. They're just all glass cannons, right? And then so you've got Absol at 670, Zoroark and Leafeon at 660, and Zeraora at 649. Whatever these numbers are, I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah,
I have no clue.
But that gives you guys 6 points. That's 6 points. We're doing well. We're doing well. That gets you guys on the board a little bit more than you were before. It changes the standing slightly. We are going to sort. All right. In first place, we still have Bocephus with 23 points. In second, we've got a 2-way tie between between Seth Vilo and Clod9 at 21 points. R.Sigma is in fourth with 18. Whimsicott and Sublime tied in fifth with 14. Linian is in seventh with 8. Shark is in seventh is in 8 with 7.
Did he get points for last week?
I believe I did that. I don't remember, though, if I did that or not.
I had put that somewhere because I didn't know where the document was to add things.
And then Dr. Shamu is in 9th with 6, and Jushiro is bringing up the lead with 5 points in 10th place. It's still anybody's game. At the beginning of December, we'll figure out who gets to be on the Tournament of Champions, and we'll see who wins the $25 gift card to Fazoli's. With that said, we're going to kick it on over to the topic. Hey, Thatch here. A lot of you have been asking how you can hang out with us during the week. Well, the best way to do so is come to our Discord server at puclpodcast.com. You can join our server and you can hang out with us, talk Pokemon, battle, do a bunch of cool things, join in their tournaments. So what's stopping you? Come on over, pucldiscord.com. You can jump right on in and have a good time talking with the host of the show, as well as the large community we've gathered over the years. So come on, let's hang out. Welcome to the topic. Our topic today is going to be Pokemon Unanswered Questions. Play the X-Files music right here, you know.
Bow, 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 bow.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Pew, pew.
In Pokemon, there's a lot of things that happen that we don't have answers for, whether it be in the lore or people's minds. And I think this is... I read it, the old Puckle topics, and I saw this one, and I actually realized that it wasn't actually us discussing this kind of topic. It was actually us. For some reason, apparently in 2015, we thought it was a good idea to take audience questions, essentially, to help and answer these things for people. To be fair, we probably should do that because the number of times we get requests can you do an episode to explain EV training, where I just don't want to do an episode about that, is very high. So I think we should do maybe we should do that at some point. But today I wanted to talk about some unanswered questions. The few things that I think would be really interesting to talk about, because I think they're relevant to things today, in modern Pokemon ideas. The one that came to mind immediately when I thought about that was the X and Y Ghost Girl in Lumio City, right? And I thought to myself, oh man, we have no idea what that's about. There's nothing about this anywhere about what that was. I wonder if we'll get an answer in Pokemon Z to A. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if it takes place in the past.
I was going to say, there's a lot of... Z to A is in the future.
You don't know that. No, you don't know that.
We don't know.
Oh, I thought they said it was the future. Oh, well, because there's a...
No, it's all assumption at this point.
We don't know if it's the past. To be fair, it could be the future. We don't know. But my gut feeling, if it's a Pokemon Legends game, it's probably the past. But I mean, they could be doing something completely different this time, though.
It could be making the Legend of Zygarde too. Who knows?
Well, there's a lot of if you look at just X and Y, there's a lot of unanswered questions that they just sort of left there.
Like what? What are you thinking?
It was almost like they were planning a Z version that never happened.
They absolutely were.
What's it? The whole the random door in the desert near the end of the game.
Yeah, in the power plant.
That leads to the facility that you can access to. The power, that's it, yeah. It's that's left unknown. We don't know what was, where the tie-in is there. There's nothing there.
I look forward to when we go back there in Legends ZA and we find out that the different power plants are researching Dynamax energy and Terrestrial energy and Ultra Beast energy, and that's why we couldn't get there.
Oh my gosh, that would be so funny.
Oh gosh, no.
We're going to have Robot Buzzwole and it'll be fine. It's fine.
Actually, that's okay. I'm actually pretty okay with that.
Yeah, I think there's plenty in X and Y. They definitely were planning a Z. They 100% were, right? They just shoved a lot of it into Sun and Moon so that they could make that the 20th anniversary game. And I think that's just kind of what we got stuck with.
I assume that's why we were getting Legends ZA, because they probably had a lot of stuff that they did prep for a Z version and they can just use it. Yeah.
It was definitely good for them, right? I'm not going to say it wasn't, but it was certainly good for them. I don't know. I see that. The Ghost Girl, I think, is one because nobody has an answer. There's no good answer for that. That's one thing I think is much more vague, but.
And there's creepy Ghost Girls in every game.
Are there really? I don't.
There's more than just that one.
Really? Which?
There's a bunch of abandoned houses, throughout them. I believe there's one in Gen 5 as well.
I just want to know what the deal is. And I think this, revisiting Lumio City, we have to know. There has to be some answer to this. Or at least a quest that addresses it happened. You know what I mean? A quest that's this room is haunted for some reason. Please figure it out. And then it ends up being a Rotom or some kind of fight, something with that. I wouldn't be surprised.
One other one that I remember as a kid, was, C. Mauville from Gen 3. Whatever happened to it? And that, because we went from that place to Old Mauville to what's the problem now?
I think you just found the next Legends game, Claude. I think you found the next Legends game.
Ooh, okay.
Pokemon Legends, C. Mauville.
I mean, they kind of went into it in Oraz, didn't they?
Oraz No, because Oraz they did something weird where instead of where they just like made C Mauville like the underground or New Mauville, not C Mauville, New Mauville, right?
It was a research center, wasn't it?
No, they just like made it like an underground city in Mauville. It was weird. They just made an underground city.
No, that's New Mauville. C Mauville was the wrecked ship.
Wait, which one's C Mauville? Oh, that's the boat.
That's a boat.
There's a lot of boats.
Now I'm getting these two confused.
Which one are you talking about, Claude?
Yeah, C Mauville is the boat that was crashed.
That was the old research facility that crashed. Is C Mauville. I mean, even that, like, there's a lot with that we still don't.
No, it's a research. Yeah, you are correct.
But there's a lot with that we still don't know. That's just out there. Like,
the C Mauville takes the place of the abandoned ship. Oh, so it was an Oraz thing. It's just like an Oraz only thing. Okay, that's why I'm confused.
Okay, that, yes.
I think they did it so that they could add in like a bunch of things for Pokemon that came out after Ruby and Sapphire, like post-Gen 3 Pokemon, because I think there's something with like the odd keystone there and stuff like that.
Well, but there's just a lot of mystery around like the abandoned ship and all of that, because like there's like rooms of documents that are just in the game, and there's a whole bunch of like notes and papers, and great, there is something with the odd keystone, now that I'm looking it up, but like there's a whole lot here that like they don't explain.
The ship itself was called the SS Cactus for everybody else who cared, by the way. The original abandoned ship was called the SS Cactus.
I mean, it's where you get Beedrillite.
It is where you get Beedrillite.
But like, I think there's a whole lot of like that could have been more. Like, there's so much hidden with that. It's still a good Pokemon.
Man, I miss Mega Beedrill. I hope we can catch Mega Beedrill in Z to A.
I hope Mega Beedrill makes it too, because it's one of those Pokemon that doesn't really need its ability.
Well, I also wouldn't.
Like, the ability is nice, but it doesn't need it.
No, it definitely needs its ability.
I wouldn't be surprised if we got abilities though in Legend Z to A, man. Like I expect Legend Z to A to be a different battle system than Legends Arceus.
I agree. I think they're going to do an entirely different game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a completely different battle engine.
Like, the styles aren't coming back. The styles are not coming back.
No, I think it's going to be a completely different battle system, though, because I think the whole point of the Legends games, at least for Game Freak, is to make something different and wild that they normally couldn't make.
Well, beyond that, I think it's to explore more of a specific region or area.
Oh, yeah, no, it's a twofer. It's a twofer for sure, right?
That's why I think this one's going to be in the future. Like, I think we're going to get future Lumiose and Z to A, where it's, years after the game's version of X and Y, and then it's going to be different. And this way we're going to see more Pokemon. There might be more Mega Evolutions. Fairy-type, I mean, granted, Fairy-type came out with that game. But, like, when they went to Legends Arceus, Fairy-type, was there. I mean, you can, like, there's lots of little things.
Okay, so I want to, like, pivot a little bit more to something else that is probably a little bit more topical, and, like, I think we're going to disagree, Claude, and that's kind of why I want to bring it up. I don't know that I am satisfactorily happy with the answer for what are Paradox Pokemon. I think the community has come to a consensus that they're just Pokemon from different timelines. Like, we're doing the Marvel multiverse here for Pokemon, but I feel like they just left it so vague still that they're just like, oh, it could be,
Well, so there's two trains of thought for this from the games, from me playing through it, is you have the ancient Pokemon, which is from the past, where it was, these were the Pokemon that were around in this universe in the past. So it's less multi-dimensions and more time travel in my mind, is one train of thought, where it's, Great Tusk used to be like this, then they started domesticating it, and it became Donphan. And then after the Donphan...
I would agree with you with the exception... I would agree with you with the exception of Sandy Shocks. Like, Sandy Shocks makes no sense.
Evolution over time is...
How did you make magnets and screws millions of years ago to make Sandy Shocks?
Well, that's the ancient form for a reason.
I mean, the thing is, Magnezone was the Pokemon that didn't come through dimensional rifts in Legends Arceus, right? Magnezone was a naturally occurring Pokemon. Magnemite was not.
I think that's an oversight.
I don't think it was. I think that was intended. I think they came from outer space. just like the Clefairy, they came from outer space and they were the progenitors. And eventually, over time, Magnemite showed up. But I think it was a chicken and egg situation.
I fully believe Magneton came first, and then, over time through egg breeding.
I have such a hard time believing that. But this is why I brought it up, because I know you're going to have a completely different opinion than me. So
I was trying to give a rational train of thought to explain why it's possible. But, a different world, different... yeah.
I think the weird thing about the past Paradox Pokemon, which is, a good attention to detail, is that there are multiple that would evolve from stones that didn't, essentially. It's a Jigglypuff, not a Wigglytuff. And it's a Magneton, not a Magnezone, which evolves from a stone.
And it's a Misdreavus, not a Misdreavus, or Mismagius.
Yeah, stones are unnatural evolutions, so it's more natural that they're unevolved forms. And I like that attention to detail.
Oh, and I guess technically Magneton again, right? Because Magneton now evolves with the stone.
Yeah, those are unnatural evolutions, so...
Oh my gosh, I don't like that you pointed that out.
I really like that detail for the past Pokemon.
I mean, I still think it's probably I don't know if that's a point towards either origin, but...
That's a detail someone's imagination would...
I do like that detail.
Work out too, though, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
But it was a very good detail.
That is a very good detail. I didn't actually notice that. Yeah, because, all of the past...
Future doesn't really have that.
And the future ones make more sense of all right, we go full on technology and, alter the Pokemon to try and do the things we want to do.
I think the future Paradox Pokemon are just boring.
I don't disagree with you.
I think they needed a better theme similar. I think they needed a theme similar to how past had unevolved Pokemon. I think they needed more fusions among them, like Iron Valiant was.
Yeah.
I think that's what they needed.
I do think you're right. I agree. Iron Valiant is the premier future Pokemon.
Oh, they actually have exclusively fully evolved Pokemon though in the future though. So that's kind of an interesting point.
It's weird because as designs, I think the future Pokemon actually do very well for themselves. Iron Moth looks really cool. Iron Valiant's really good. Iron Bundle's really good as individuals, but as a group, I don't think they.
I think a lot of this could have been masked. I think they could have masked it a lot better if they would have named them differently. I really think the names were just really phoned in. I think somebody said Iron something should be all their names, and I think they just ran with that and never changed it. They didn't think oh man, we gave all these really cool, unique names to the past Paradox Pokemon, and then nothing as cool over there. You could name one Iron, and even then, you could have changed the metal, right? I think I've mentioned this before. You could change the metal. Instead of Iron Bundle, it could have been Copper Bundle or something like that. You know what I mean?
Or Steel Valiant. I'm just,
Yeah, Steel Valiant. Yeah, I agree with you. Instead of Iron Valiant.
Instead of Iron Thorns, it could have been Ferrothorn,
Or Silver Thorns. I'm just, you can throw out anything there.
Ferrothorns was the way to go.
But you're right. That is an interesting question that we do not have a lot of answers for.
That's a Pokemon name right there.
I think it's just interesting. They didn't give us a solid answer, which I was kind of hoping for with the DLC, and especially with how well the story was pieced together in Scarlet and Violet. I didn't expect them to kind of fall back,
calling it the Secrets of Area Zero.
Yeah, the Hidden Secrets of Area Zero, and we got very little Hidden Secrets of Area Zero.
That was bad. That was a bad name for what we got. There were no secrets there. Just another paradox.
Yeah, Terrapagos is Terrapagos is incredibly shoehorned. Terrapagos, I thought the story was going to be about Terrapagos, but the story was about Kieran, and Terrapagos was there. That's what it was, right?
And there was a tree. There was a tree. It did nothing.
Why'd you design that room? Why'd you design that? I wonder. This isn't going to happen, but I would really love for this to happen, where we got some kind of event or something they add to the game. Because especially if Gen 10 is going to be 2026, right? We're stuck with this game for another 2 years as the Pokemon game. It would be really cool if they'd add just a little bit of something into it. I'm not saying a full DLC, but an update. I would love just a little something new, just a little something new, Pokemon. And you're doing it. You're doing it. It's also, I do find it a little frustrating because I feel like they could expand to have a small team that works on the maintenance of the current game, and they could be dumping the other Pokemon that aren't in it into Scarlet and Violet, slowly drip feed us like they have been with the raid, or what they were doing with the raids early on. I would really love that. We have like 2 years.
Gotta get that Shedinja in there for the tour.
Okay, to be fair, never mind. I regret my decision. I say no. Shedinja should not be in this game.
I think we have a good number of Pokemon, and I'm content. Content is a good word to say.
Actually, you could actually fix Shedinja in this game by making it such that Wonder Guard doesn't work when you Terrasilize.
What do you do about his HP then? It just stays at 1?
Yeah, it just stays at 1. Turns out it's a terrible Pokemon to Terrasilize.
You chose this for yourself.
You had 5 other Pokemon to Terrasilize, and you chose this one.
I just think Shedinja shouldn't be able to Terrasilize.
It's either that or you just make Wonder Guard shut off. I think both are very.
I don't know, because the whole idea is, I wouldn't be opposed to it being able to do both, but like there's got to be some sort of limitation to it before it, because otherwise you would just say, all right, it's going to hold an air balloon, Terra Electric, and now you have to have Sandstorm or Toxic or Burn. That's it. You have 3 options that can hurt it now.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think. Well, no, you just shut off. You shut off Wonder Guard. You just shut off Wonder Guard, and you're fine.
Just like how they shut off Protean.
Yeah, they shut off Protean.
I mean, that works. Then it just becomes a bad Pokemon.
No, that's my whole. It's still a good Pokemon. You just don't Terrasilize it. It's good without Terrasalization. It doesn't need to be Terrasilized. I
just think it shouldn't be in the game. I think Wonder Guard was an oversight on their part, and they didn't realize the chaos that would come from it.
Oh, have we also? Okay, like
I mean, I think it's fine when it's not in a randomizer and stuff, right?
I want to go back to Paradox Pokemon for a second, because looking at the page, I realized there's a thing that I want to bring up. Maybe this isn't an unanswered question, but like maybe something that was slightly disappointing. I was kind of hoping for like more like Cyclizar to Koraidon stuff out of this game, like, or Cyclizar to Miraidon, like anything. And I feel like we got like nothing. Like, it's just like, yeah, Cyclizar exists, haha, and these Pokemon look like him. And that's all we got.
I would have sworn that Heath's Cyclizar was ours, right? Like that's what it felt like it was leading up to, and nothing happened.
I was hoping it would lead up to that. We got like nothing more about Heath, by the way, in the DLC either. We got nothing more. Despite
his relative being like a minor character. Let's not call her major. She didn't do anything.
What is going on? I like praise Scarlet and Violet like base game as having such a good story, and then I feel like the DLC just kind of dropped the ball, because I think they wanted to do 2 things, and they did one of the 2 like 80% well, and then just like kind of forgot about the other one. And I think they really wanted to do a thing where you went to other regions as the DLC, which I think is phenomenal. They did that pretty well. The only problem is they tried to shoehorn the second part, which fell squarely flat on its face, where it was just like, we have to bring this back to Area 0 somehow. And there was very little explanation as to why Kitakami has some connection to the Area 0 crystals and Terrasalization. Terrapagos, like I said before, is just like very shoehorned into the DLC. I really would have liked to find out that like Pokemon were going into the machine, coming out of the machine, or something like that, as something different. And I was kind of hoping the Cyclizar, like you said, was Heath's.
I feel like we were getting set up for something like that too.
Like, Heath had a Cyclizar. Why was that important?
When you do like the post-credit scene for the DLC where you go visit the professor and they give you their book, I thought that was going to lead to something. It's like, you have the key to the time machine now. Let's go find the answer. And no, you don't. You just create a paradox. It's great. Just another paradox. Because if you have the key to the device, it shouldn't have worked. So maybe there's a timeline now where the professor lives and is happy. I don't know.
No, it was very weird. Very weird to me.
So one Pokemon thing that's never really questioned, and it only provoked more questions when Go came out, is Kangaskhan. When it comes out of the net, when you get an egg of a Kangaskhan in Pokemon Go, it comes out with the baby already in the pouch.
I mean, it does that in the Pokemon games too.
Both, yes, I know, but it only further came from after seeing that. So I'm like, all right, why? What is this?
I don't know. It's like how I feel like a lot of people forget that, like...
No, but like, why would we still not have an answer? Is my thought. Like,
no, we should get a pre-Evo, right? And it would be really cool if that pre-Evo evolved into either Cubone or Kangaskhan. I think Kangas Kid. Oh my gosh, I love Kangas Kid. Oh my gosh. If it's male, it has to evolve into Cubone, but if it's female, it could be a split evolution path. Kind of like Frostlass. Oh my gosh, we just made a cool Pokemon. Pokemon Gen 10 coming on up. Kangas Kid.
That and the little baby Tauros that evolves into Tauros and Miltank.
I know at least one person from Pokemon has to listen to us, right? Like, it's got to be their job to catch up on us. Whoever that is, you put Kangas Kid in the game. Put that in somebody's ear. Kangas Kid evolves into Cubone. Just, like, make the connection official, right? Like, it's hinted at all over the place. Just make it official. Because I'm all for that. Especially with, like, Mega Kangaskhan and the kid coming out of the pouch. I think Kangaskhan should, I think Kangas Kid should become a Pokemon. Absolutely. I think Kangas Kid should become a Pokemon. I'm into that. I love that that's the Pokemon that Mega Evolves too. Like, Mega Kangaskhan looks just like Kangaskhan, and then the baby is what Mega Evolves.
Yeah, and it comes out, which I think is so cool. Granted, Parental Bond, I think, is a wonderfully smart mechanic for it. It's flavorful and works.
It was broken when it came out, but they nerfed it in Gen 7, thankfully.
It is still broken with Seismic Toss, but that's the only move. But it's Legacy, and Legacy.
Which I don't think it gets naturally anymore.
Kangaskhan was last in Generation 8.
No, it doesn't, which is great.
It was only in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
Yeah, it's a transfer-only move.
Is it in Sword and Shield? Oh, it's in Sword and Shield. Okay, it's available in Sword and Shield.
No one used it because, no Mega, but, it was there.
How's it? You can't even catch it in Sword and Shield, though, but it's in Sword and Shield. Oh, never mind. It's in the expansion pass. It's just the way it's listed.
I was going to say, I thought it was an Isle of Armor.
The way it's listed on Bulbapedia was confusing because they split up the expansion pass from Sword and Shield. Oh yeah, you can get it in the Training Lowlands or Warm Up Tunnel.
I mean, you know what? Talking about Isle of Armor, I still feel like Charcadet's evolutions might have been designed for an Isle of Armor rather than like actual. They're armor Pokemon.
Only one of them's armor Pokemon, right?
Literal armor Pokemon, and they have really good designs. Do you know how exciting it would have been for it to Isle of Armor to give us those instead of Urshifus? Like, that would have been so cool.
Okay, that's a good point. I do like Urshifu, though. Like, I'm not mad at Urshifu. I think Urshifu is a fun Pokemon.
I am tired of... I think the water one is too much. I hate that it's like the fire, water, grass core of every VGC team almost. Because there are so many water Pokemon, and that one is just so much better than most of them. Oh,
no, it's a good Pokemon. I'm not saying it's not a good Pokemon. I do find it odd that... No, I guess, like, I do expect the Pokemon from the previous gen to be in the next gen game, especially, like, the big name ones. Like I do expect, like, Urshifu and Calyrex to be in this game. I don't know if I expect them to be in Gen 10, per se. Well, actually, that's just hot take.
I don't know if I expect Calyrex to be in this game, in the next one.
Calyrex is in this gen, yeah.
I mean, Calyrex is in this gen. We can't catch it, but it's in this gen.
Oh, I meant, like, I thought you meant the next one.
Like, I expect the DLC Pokemon to be transferred.
If Calyrex is in it, yeah, if Calyrex is in it, I would expect just, like, every legendary's in it. But, I mean, that's certainly not the case in Scarlet and Violet. Like, Xerneas and Yveltal aren't in it. I think there's a couple other mythicals that don't make it. Like, I don't think, did Hoopa make it? I don't know if Hoopa made it. No, Hoopa made it. Hoopa made it. Hoopa didn't make it to Sword and Shield.
I think all of the legends usually do.
I think it's some of the... Actually, did Zero Aura make it? Oh, Melmetal didn't make it. It's fine.
Melmetal didn't make it, which is... Zero Aura didn't make it either to Scarlet and Violet. I don't believe.
I didn't think Zero Aura made it, but I wasn't 100% sure. I knew Melmetal didn't make it.
Let me look. I'm gonna pull up the list of unavailable Pokemon. This is completely not the topic anymore, but I'm perfectly okay with that because we need to know. Like, this is something we just need to know.
But I feel like most of them made it. Is Celebi still missing?
Has Melmetal been in? Is Melmetal been in a game since?
So Melmetal was never in Sun and Moon.
Sorry,
it was in Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield.
Yeah, that's all it's been in. That and Let's Go.
It had a Gigantamax form.
We had Let's Go, whatever that was. I'm trying to find, like, unavailable Pokemon, unobtainable Pokemon.
Cerebi should have a list. Yeah,
I do. I found it. I'm on it. I'm trying to find, like, weird things that are unavailable, but not just, like, Zigzagoon. Celebi did not make the cut for Scarlet and Violet. Let's see what else didn't make it. So Celebi didn't make the cut, which is odd. All the Gen 4 stuff did, obviously, with the exception of, like, Drapion and Licky Licky. Victini didn't make the cut.
I mean, that's because we just had Legends Arceus, yeah.
I don't think Victini made it.
No, Victini didn't make it. And let's see. That's Gen 5. Genesect didn't make it. Only Genesect from Gen 5.
But Genesect hasn't been around for a while, has it?
Genesect...
I feel like we've been missing it.
Yeah, I don't think it even made it to Gen 8, did it? Yeah, okay, it was in Sword and Shield? Okay, that's good. That makes me happy.
I think so. It had to have been, because they brought back They brought back Hoopa. They're going to bring back Genesect before.
Obviously, Xerneas, Yveltal, Zygarde did not make it. And all the Tapus didn't make it. Silvally didn't make it.
But aren't all the Mythicals here?
None of the Ultra Beast. No Marshadow. No Zeraora. No Meltan. No Melmetal. I think Magearna made it, though. I think Magearna has to.
Magearna did make it.
Are there any other good mysteries, though, or questions that we have that we want to know more about? Just to get us back on topic.
Not really. That's why I was kind of just going off on this tangent. But I feel good. I don't know.
I'm just trying to think of if there's anything else we want to leave out for the people. What happened to Cubone's mother in the game.
I mean, it died from Team Rocket.
I know, but
yeah, I thought that was
that's the whole thing that's never discussed.
I thought that was pretty explicit.
Oh, it's very clear that it died. I know,
but there's so much more to it than just that.
It's very clear, especially in the manga. It's very clear.
Yeah, but we never hear anything about what's it called, jail, or just jail in general, or consequences for doing bad things in Pokemon.
So they do have that. It actually, okay,
I mean, Looker exists.
Not even just Looker, but they literally had this happen in Sword and Shield. Chairman Rose actually goes to jail. It said, he goes to jail.
I mean, and they always talk about...
He got in trouble for interrupting his own event.
I mean, if you look into the Pokedex entries, there's a whole bunch of weird things what is inside of a Forretress? What's inside of Tangela? We don't know what they look like. They're just covered in vines.
I do want to know what Tangela is. We don't get a lot of Pokemon like that anymore, to be fair, which is kind of a bummer. Like Tangela, where it's just this is a weird dude.
Mimikyu exists.
Yeah, we don't know what a Mimikyu is.
Mimikyu is that Pokemon incarnate, right?
I wish we got more forms of Mimikyu.
That shocks me, because that seems so marketable.
So they have the plushes for it. The plushes exist.
But I'm surprised it's not an in-game thing where it's even just cosmetic. I think it'd be a great thing they did with the Vivillon, where it's all right, cool, these are the different Vivillon forms based on where you find it. And it's all right, well, now do the same thing with Mimikyu, where it can have different costumes based on, different parts of the game. I think that'd be a cute little side quest and something.
Yeah, it would be cool if it took on the Pikachu rodent of that generation or something. Like a little Palmy plush.
Or even the cosplay Pikachu was a huge thing for a while.
Yeah, I do remember that.
But yeah, Mimikyu is a weird one.
I think we can end it and let the fans send us more things next week. Let us know what your unanswered questions in Pokemon are. Send those to us at puclpodcast@gmail.com. Until then, guys, we're going to kick it... Oh, go ahead, Claude.
So if we get enough good questions, we'll make a part 2.
I will take us over to our Pokemon of the episode. We'll catch you on the flip-flop.
Poke of the episode.
Welcome to our Pokemon of the episode. Our Pokemon of the episode this week is National Dex number 115, Kangaskhan, the parent Pokemon.
Its Pokemon Shield Pokedex entry reads, there are records of a lost human child being raised by a childless Kangaskhan. See?
Yeah.
That's where Cubone's mother is.
That's where Cubone's mother is.
This is...
Oh, no.
It's just such a weird Pokemon because, they've shown baby Kangaskhan in the anime.
Yeah,
and it's not a Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's weird to me that,
no,
it makes sense from a perspective of when it grows up and becomes the big Kangaskhan, but why over time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there's no Pokemon for the small one that I feel there should be.
I think you're correct.
And the small ones are apparently always female, right?
All the Pokemon are female, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kangaskhan's always female.
'Cause there are no male Kangaskhan's?
No, there are no male Kangaskhan. Nope. Yeah, there are no... It's 100% female rate. Some early Pokedex entries specifically mention female Kangaskhan. The female raises the offspring in a pouch from the Japanese red and green, as well as fire red. The female raises its young in the belly pouch for around 3 years. This may imply that there are male Kangaskhan as well, although they aren't seen.
They're hiding.
Yes. They're just not there. There is a card in rotation from 151, a Kangaskhan EX. It's not good. I don't know if you should ever play it, but if you like a real Kangaskhan stan, right? If you're a real Kangaskhan stan, you can go ahead and play Kangaskhan EX. The only card it had before this was Kangaskhan GX. Oh my gosh. Kangaskhan gets no cards.
Nope.
Like, ever, actually.
Even the Mega was, like...
there was... Okay, never mind. There is another Kangaskhan from Obsidian Flames right now as well. Oh, thank God. I was like, what happened? What are they doing to my boy? There is a baby Kangaskhan. The baby Kangaskhan from Obsidian Flames is not very good. 30 damage for 1 colorless with Headbutt, and then 60 damage with 2 colorless for Spike Draw, which also allows you to draw 2 cards. Kangaskhan has historically just like always had you draw 2 cards, or have you draw cards. And
it loves drawing cards. It very much does.
It does. Kangaskhan EX, the one that's in rotation right now, 1 colorless, draw 3 cards with triple draw. Which was also an attack it had in Flashed Fire when it was Kangaskhan EX. It had triple draw back then as well. And then what did Mega Kangaskhan EX in the TCG actually have anything fun? 3 colorless, Wham Bam Punch. Oh, I love that actually. Flip a coin until you get tails. This attack does 230 damage. Most of the Mega Pokemon were pretty
It was not good.
They had to fix Mega Pokemon because they did not all have Spirit Links until like later on.
Electric was the first good one, right? Like
yeah, it took a while.
Electric was the first good one, and then we got like I think Groudon and
then you have Audino that won Worlds.
Eventually.
Yeah, Rayquaza became very good.
That's well into them designing Megas.
Well, they like nerfed Megas too hard. They did like the opposite of like, they didn't make something broken. They made something that was supposed to be like a mainstay mechanic, but they made it really, really bad. Because they did the thing where like if you
ending the
evolved,
turn on evolution was such a.
Your turn ended when you mega evolved essentially, which was a little rough.
That's really unfortunate.
It was so bad.
It was a little rough.
So bad. I don't know how that
not
play
a good
tested.
time.
I don't know how that place tested through.
And
because the Megas weren't even that
everybody
good.
hated that.
They had more HP and that's it.
I think to be fair, I don't think they tested the TCG as like hard back then as they do now. I think there's a lot of like very intentional design decisions that are being made now. Like a good example of this is Choice Belt got reprinted in base set Scarlet and Violet, which is something that I don't think would have ever happened before. And for those of you who don't understand, Choice Belt is a item that you can attach to a Pokemon to do 30 more damage to Pokemon V. But since we switched to Scarlet and Violet, Pokemon V are no longer printed in new sets. So they were definitely like backwards looking and looking at the meta and being like, here's Choice Belt so that you can always be up on, Pokemon V if they take over the meta.
Yeah, I think it was more of a preventative measure of like, all right, let's say in case we print something that makes an old V really broken, there's still a way to beat it.
They were very good about it, especially since Choice Belt would have been rotated out this year had they not done that reprint.
Yeah.
Would it have been?
Yes, it was an E Block card, I believe, or was it F Block?
Oh, okay. I thought it was F.
It might be F Block.
I thought it came out with Arceus.
Yeah, it might be F Block.
That was the confusing part.
They were just doing it so it was easy to get one. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it came out in Brilliant Stars, so it was F Block. Weird. Okay, but either way, Kangaskhan used to be a beast in competitive Pokemon as well. I do remember that. Parental Bond used to be really good back when it did 50% damage on the second hit.
Yep, and then they nerfed it. It used to be very good in VGC just because of all the utility it had with Fake Out and whatnot.
It was part of Chalk. It was just part of Chalk,
right?
It
was the K.
It was the K of Chalk.
Well
Chalk was like this old team system, by the way, in VGC. It stood for Cresselia. What was the R?
Heatran.
Oh wait, no, there's no R. Cresselia, Heatran, Amoonguss, Landorus, Kangaskhan. That was a core of 5 that almost every team in 2015 VGC had.
I think it was 15 out of 16, the worlds ended up with that or something crazy, some large number.
I think sometimes the C was a Conkeldurr instead of Cresselia, but yeah.
And you could just put a 6th Pokemon of your favorite choosing in there. Sometimes it was Thundurus,
It depends on what you wanted, what helped, but like you ended up in mirror matches all the time.
It was more like a playstyle choice, I feel like, more than anything. But yeah, it was it was a wild meta. That meta was pretty unbalanced because everybody could just run the same team. There was like a best team in format.
That was really boring.
Yeah.
It was an incredibly bad meta.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the competitive players liked it because it was all about skill, but...
It was all skill-based at that point.
It was all skill, yeah. That was the year after Patch.
It was skill and whether your Landorus rock slides flinched. That was also skill.
I was going to say, like, if you want to run it now, I mean, it's not in the current generation, so you'd have to play an older generation or national decks, and at that point, you run Mega Kangaskhan and just pick, like, 4 moves that really matter for coverage.
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing was, like, I think they removed Power Up Punch from it, which is what gave it its...
Oh, that's what really broke it. Yeah, because, I mean, Power Up Punch just doesn't even exist anymore.
It was because it was a Swords Dance on a very, an okay move. It wasn't super strong because it was only 40 base power, but when you're getting a Swords Dance and breaking sashes at the same time, like it did good.
Mm-hmm. But it has a lot of covers because it's Gen 1 Mon. Like, it had everything from Wish to...
I think it has Flame
Surf.
Thunderbolt.
I think it has Encore, too. Counter. I've seen it used a variety of ways in Draft, so...
Fake Out, Sucker Punch. Probably Body Slam nowadays, since they killed Return.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I've seen it, run Whirlpool to trap things before, and just to be silly.
That's funny.
It is one of those old Gen 1 Pokemon.
Come back in Gen 10.
Everybody's coming back in Gen 10. Don't hurt my spirit, okay?
It's really cool because it has... I mean, it's a Mega Pokemon, so I think it's more likely. But it has Scrappy and Inner Focus, which both have Intimidate immunity now. So it's even better.
Yeah.
Which means you only ever want to run Scrappy. Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Unless you're running VGC and you want to avoid the... Yeah, but the only difference for Inner Focus is you can't be flinched. Yeah.
And VGC, so that's pretty big. VGC is pretty big on that.
You may want that, but in competitive, it's like
Intimidate,
you want that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Scrappy is usually better.
Usually.
I mean, I think even VGC runs Scrappy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More, I believe.
Well, it has it's decent bulk, decent. Well, yeah, it all depends on the meta. But even then, you get Crunch. You can just hit it. Or Earthquake.
Very true.
It's a cool Pokemon.
It had very well-rounded stats, too.
Yeah. Except for Special Attack. Special Attack is in the 40-ish. And then everything else is 80,
it is 40, you should not be running Flamethrower. Or Thunderbolt. I don't know how it thunders, but it does.
Neither do I.
Or Shadow Ball. Why does it... Okay, actually, Shadow Ball makes sense because in Gen 3 it actually would have...
How does it Bubble Beam?
But everything gets Bubble Beam.
How does it Incinerate? There's a bunch of random moves. Why does it know this? Does it get Water Gun? It does get Water Gun.
Why does it get Water Pulse?
Because it's a normal type from
because it's a Gen 1 normal type.
Yeah, it's a Gen 1 normal type.
It's a Gen 1 normal type.
They just
get
Gen 1
these
Pokemon
things.
And a normal type, so it gets more.
It's a Gen 1 normal type. They just got everything.
Gen 1 Rhydon and Rhydon are also notorious for just getting everything.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Tauros.
Yep.
Persian didn't get everything, but it got a lot
more
than
Persian got less, which is absurd.
Yeah.
It should have gotten more.
Persian still got a lot, though.
It had Thunderbolt. I
don't think it got Thunderbolt. I think it only has Shockwave.
No, it definitely got Thunderbolt. It definitely got Thunderbolt.
Okay.
Persian 100%
Gen 1 got Thunderbolt, yeah. Gyarados has Thunderbolt and Flamethrower,
Mm-hmm.
Once again, Gen 1 made more sense because its special stat was actually decent. So you weren't embarrassed to run the special attacks, but...
Oh, right. Well, that's Kangaskhan. I don't have anything else to say about it other than we need Cubone connections and...
It had a cool Mega. It'll be back in 2 years.
It will be back. All right. Well, with that, guys, we're going to kick it on over to our mailbag.
It's mail time! Send in your emails!
Welcome to our mailbag. The mailbag is the part of the show where we read your emails on the show. You can send them into puclpodcast@gmail.com. As always, this segment is brought to you by the fictional energy drink Green Tauros, the energy drink that gives you hooves.
Hooves!
And we'll give out the Green Tauros badge to anybody we deem worthy. with that said, we're going to jump into it. Last week, we asked you guys what Pokemon misconceptions you had growing up as kids, and we got a couple good emails for it. So our first one this week is going to be from Enchanted Void. And Sigma, you've got this one.
Yeah, this is Enchanted Void, sitting behind this screen. I'm still pretty young, so there weren't many misconceptions I had about Pokemon growing up, because the internet was a thing then. Yeah, I'm that young. The big one I remember was when my brother and I played the TCG together. We thought that you had to discard the energy from the Pokemon every time you attacked. We thought this for far too long. I think I did the same thing when I first got the TCG cards. I think that's how I played it. So that's cool. Then, of course, there were the many names we mispronounced. No examples come to mind, but I know for a fact that we did. I also thought the typings of many Pokemon were different than what they were, and in many cases was
like
disappointed by
Whimsicott?
What they actually were. Close. These two are very close. I thought Golduck was Water Psychic and Flygon was Bug Dragon. Both are fair. I also thought Flygon evolved from Shelgon, because duh. I also thought a lot of Gen 2 Pokemon were from Gen 3. This is actually something I see a lot, especially Skarmory. Nobody found Skarmory.
That happens a lot. Skarmory, number one, people think it's a Gen 3 Pokemon. I solidly remember as Gen 2 only because I was obsessed.
I hear that all the time.
I was obsessed as a kid with like the new types when Gen 2 came out. So like I memorized the new Pokemon.
I feel like if you didn't play Pokemon Stadium...
That's fair. That's fair.
I had gold. But if you didn't play Pokemon Stadium, you might not have ever seen a Skarmory, because I don't think anyone in that game uses one.
I don't think there's a wild battle with it.
Yeah, it's near the end of the game. I think there's one trainer that has it.
It's on a route that most people would skip. You're just not going to see it. So I can't blame anyone who ever thinks that Skarmory is a Gen 3 Pokemon. Anyway, Misdreavus, Slugma, Togepi, Wobbuffet, to name a few. I also swore on my life that there was a Pokemon Z game, because I watched Gen 6 anime first, and there was a Pokemon XYZ anime, so little old me assumed there was a third game. Lastly, and probably most hilariously, I believed that Black 2 and White 2 were just really popular fan games. I have no explanation for this. I just thought that they were completely non-canon games that people just liked better. So, they treated them like canon games.
That's hysterical. That's my favorite take so far.
That is a funny one.
It's a good one. I was a child and honestly never cared for Black and White in any capacity other than that's where Hydreigon came from, and that Pokemon was the theme of the first ever Pokemon theme deck I had bought. Thanks for what you guys do and bringing brightness to my Mondays. Enchanted Void.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's jump into this last email today. We only have two, but this one is an email. Tell me about it. This is from Alphabet Soup. Trucked park on a Mew, Puckle crew. Alphabet Soup here. Long-time listener, first-time email sender. I started playing Pokemon Blue when I was 3 years old, and probably as such, I don't remember a lot of the rumors from the first two gens. I incrementally returned to the older games as I grew up, and I remember a friend of my brother showing me his SP, where the game he was playing looked like the Gen 1 games, but the location was unlike any place I had seen in my playthroughs. It looked kind of like Pacific Logtown, but on a Game Boy. He told me it was a secret village where you could catch Mew, and after that, I remember walking along the edges of the entire region trying to find it. But of course, it was probably just a ROM hack or something. Later down the line, when playing Emerald, I read a post by a random user on Super Cheats that talked about encountering a Latios, a third legendary or combination of Latios and Latios that could be encountered on the plateau in the basement of Shoal Cave. I don't remember the exact requirements, but I believe they were kind of similar to the ones I had to go to space and encounter Deoxys, which also didn't work. Sad face. Emoji. Speaking of the physical special split, I don't believe I knew how any stat functioned prior to playing Diamond, except for speed. The bigger number go first. English is my second language, and I remember that my first blind playthrough of Diamond when I was 10 was the first time I was able to fully comprehend the game's dialogue and story. So as a young lad, I was traveling along Route 215 and randomly decided to check a trainer tip sign that explained the difference between physical and special moves and attack. Mind blown. From there, it snowballed into me spending a ton of time learning about EVs and IVs and watching competitive battles on YouTubes, and the rest is history. Anyways, I have another misconception for you that I have heard over the last few years, including on this very podcast quite a few times. It's the whole shinies weren't intentionally designed before Gen 6 thing. The first time I heard this piece of information was when watching a YouTube video around 2016 discussing the shinies of the new Gen 7 Pokemon, which I believed has a few million views. I don't know how much deeper it goes, but perhaps, like all other evils of the world, it is the fault of PokeTubers. That's true. They are responsible for most evils in the world. I knew from my experience with Gen 3 legal stuff that this just was not true. Already in the code of Gen 3 games, every shiny palette, like the regular ones, is completely unique and not used anywhere else in the ROM. There is nothing to suggest the colors are algorithmically chosen. Why would they even spend time writing this algorithm when it could just be much simpler and give them better control to just do it manually? Even with the 16 color palettes of the GBA games, there are some very intricate shinies such as Melodic that, because of how the palettes and sprites are coded in relation to one another, rather obviously have to be purposely programmed. The way the colors change between regular and shiny Pokemon in Gen 3 is functionally exactly the same as with modern gens. I do believe that some of them are certainly intentional, but there's too many puke green ones to make me believe otherwise. Like, right?
Yeah, I believe they handpicked a couple. They're like
handpicked some.
I believe they are certainly coded this way. I believe they are certainly coded this way. Like Charizard is absolutely intentional. Yeah, I think for the designs they sometimes just go, let's just do this real quick. I stopped by Bulbapedia to see if they may also be peddling this misinformation, but this misinformation, but they do not. In fact, they have a paragraph addressing the rumor, which goes, little is known about how shiny colorations are chosen. While it's often rumored that early shiny colorations were determined algorithmically, all Pokemon shiny colors are individually designed in game data, and Pokemon with similar palettes have distinct shiny colorations even in Generation 2. James Turner, who has worked as a Pokemon designer since Gen 5, stated that the first time he selected shiny colorations was Generation 7, when he selected the shiny colorations of the Ultra Beast he designed. I'm leaving the citations they are used are 1, the code from Pokegold Disassembly, 3, James Turner's tweet, and 2, the following tweet from Dr. Lava, which is a debunking shinies tweet, blah, blah, blah. So so the intentionality behind this person is a man after my own heart, or a person after my own heart. Because they do provide hard data, which I absolutely love.
As opposed to soft data, which he does not enjoy.
No, soft data is not as good as hard data. I'll tell you that. So the way I like my data is the opposite of the way I like my noodles. So the intentionality behind shiny designs has been there since the inception of Gen 2 and did not spontaneously occur with the transition to 3D. So please stop triggering me with this. I will not. But no, actually, this is hard data. I like this. Anyways, thank you for taking the time to read this lengthy email/rant. Don't trust your brother's friends or random users on Super Cheats, and have a nice weekend, everyone. Much love and appreciation, Alphabet Soup. Alphabet Soup has now changed the show forever. I never get to say that shiny Pokemon were just a palette swap.
Or Meowscarada. Meowscarada is...
I think the shinies for...
No, Gibble was good. Now Garchomp.
Oh yeah, Gibble was good.
Yeah, Garchomp was a palette swap. Swampert, I remember being just a palette swap.
I don't know that those are just palette swaps.
Swampert's good. Swampert.
There's too many purple and puke green ones, right? Like
blue to purple shinies. Blue to purple shinies are a big thing. Quagsire did the same thing.
Vaporeon?
A lot of pink. There's too many pink.
Vaporeon does it? Yeah.
Vaporeon was, yeah.
I'm gonna catalog this.
Sounds like we need to make a shiny episode.
I don't think it'll work well because this is gonna be data. This is gonna be like a shiny Pokemon talk.
It's a audio medium versus visual.
Yeah, but it's like it's like a regular episode, but only slightly different.
But I actually want to give the Green Taurus badge to Alphabet Soup for making me learn something new today. Absolutely, we'll give you a shiny Green Taurus badge. Just for that one. We appreciate it. Well, thank you. If you guys want to email us next week with what are we talking about today? Unanswered questions in Pokemon that you have. I have a new one now. Why are there so many purple and puke green shinies?
Said if you give us enough emails about it, we will make a second episode talking about all the new ones.
With that said, though, guys, we will go ahead and end the show here. You can keep up with us on the Discord at puclpodcast.com. You can follow us on social media at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Additionally, you can also follow us over at Twitch at twitch.tv/thepuclpodcast. You can follow us over at YouTube, youtube.com/puclpodcast. You can support the show over at Patreon, patreon.com/puclpodcast. And you can also go ahead and follow us. You can also help out by going to Troll and Toad at trollandtoad.com and using code PucklePod5 for a 5% off discount at the store when you buy your cardboard. You can buy that Ultra Premium collection over at Troll and Toad and get a 5% discount.
Get your shiny turtles.
So with that, guys, I have been Trainer Thatch.
I've been R.Sigma.
And I have been Clod9.
And here in the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's closing time.
It's closing time in Lavender Town. Time to say our goodbyes. It's closing time. Farewell, my friends. I'll catch you on the flip side.